I'm back.
I'm back.
Oh no! Hey, we want to learn a new topic. Come on, be happy. Fine. So, as for today, we will learn about contract law. Before I start, I need to state.
Hi.
Whoa, you started me. Now that everyone is here, let's get this started, alright? Okay.
For sure.
But for this time, I require Mr. Izwan to start first. Is it okay, Mr. Izwan?
It will be a pleasure, Mr. Isra. First of all, what did you understand about contract?
A bargain and a return for a bargain.
Well done, Shazarul. Well done. Nice.
Nice.
Well, that's the basic of it. The contract in detail explanation simply means, Mr. Isra, please.
So, a contract defined as an agreement between two parties creating mutual obligations enforceable by law. Correct, Mr. Izra.
So without further ado, let's continue with our article research. The title of our article is Contract Interpretation.
Oh my god! Wow!
So this will be our first article. What is contract interpretation? Well, the definition of contract interpretation is when a court determines the meaning of the terms or language and definition stated in contract when there is a dispute. Contract interpretation may be necessary, such as file a lawsuit to the court to review the contract if the parties involved does not meet into an agreement on certain contract terms. The court will then determine a resolution for the disagreement. Giving an example of a scenario, Jamal has bought a new car from United Kingdom and expected to be delivered.
Wait a minute!
Wait, isn't that a bus? I think it's supposed to be a car, right? Yeah, I think so.
Oops, my apologies. Let me correct it. Jamal has bought a new car from United Kingdom and expected to be delivered to Malaysia in the next 3 months. However, in the contract, it does not state whether the car will be delivered by plane or ship. Here we can see there are shipping contract dispute among both parties in which they were mistaken and unsure the term delivery. The court will perform contract interpretation in order to determine the final meaning of delivery stated in the contract.
Wow, such a great explanation from Mr. Izwan. Now, before we move on to the importance of contract interpretation, we actually found this article that made us acknowledge about the contractual interpretation. The title of this article is on the writing and the interpretation of contracts by Steve Shawell. So there are two types of approach, which is the literal approach and also the contextual approach. Can you explain what is that? Sure, why not? So here we are now at the literal and contextual approach. The literal approach to interpretation looks at the exact meaning behind the words being used, whilst the contextual approach looks at the context behind the language being used. So now let's dive into the importance to strike a balance in contract interpretation, shall we? So the main importance of striking balance in contract interpretation is all about to provide the flexibility. So when I meant by flexibility is where the codes possess a variety of consideration on determining questions of interpretation, and especially with the complex cases. And for the legal authorities to support this statement, oops, I think that's definitely not a legal authority, isn't it? Sorry, let me fix it.
Oh, that's nice.
Get over
Yeah.
And now that's what I call legal authorities. Back to our topic. As provided in the article, the key case of Wood and Capital Insurance Service Limited, the English Supreme Court revisited the balance to be struck between the language used and the commercial context in which a clause was drafted when deciding between competing meanings of a clause. Finally, we are at the end of our session. Wah. We're still not finished yet. I'm going to pass to Mr. Izwan for the opinion.
It is such a necessary sorry, my bad. It is such a necessary way to avoid potential disputes and also the best way to ensure that all contract terms are clear and precisely understood by both parties so that they are on the same page. In regards to definition of certain words used in the contract.